Hey, this is Steve Page, current partner at Giant Partners, the #1 data-driven marketing agency in the US. So a recent story came out, Google facing another lawsuit from the US. Department of Justice is suing Google, basically saying that it is a monopoly. Their paid advertising platform is pretty much the only one being used by most companies. They've purchased several companies to make themselves a monopoly. The Department of Justice raises some valid points that this is a monopoly. They purchased DoubleClick in 2008, AdX 2008, AdMeld in 2011. There haven't really been many competitors since. They pretty much have a stranglehold on most of the display, paid advertising, paid search advertising network out on the internet. So what does this mean for you? And what do you do about it? Google being sued isn't new. They've been sued before. It'd probably be the first or last lawsuit for Google or a lot of other tech companies. But in general, they're only one of the paid search platforms. One thing to look at potentially is other ad platforms like Google. Microsoft is actually pretty interesting. They have their Bing search engine. Microsoft Advertising is another search intent advertising platform. What they actually did was recently have a huge investment in ChatGPT maker, OpenAI. So you may have heard of ChatGPT. It's basically an AI tool where you can ask it questions. It gives you answers. It can write code for you. It can do a whole bunch of things. You ask it questions or ask it to do things almost like a artificially intelligent personal assistant. It's pretty awesome. You should try it. Google ChatGPT and what it's all about. Look at it more on YouTube as well for some great tutorials of how to use it. But one thing as far as the Google paid advertising space, that they're getting into the AI market, and AI is a huge driver in paid advertising. And if Microsoft makes a huge investment in OpenAI, that means they are trying to make their AI presence known. Get that technology, use it for their own tools. One of their tools is Microsoft Advertising. And that'll be a huge competitor with Google, because Google is basically an 800-pound gorilla in that space. As you can see, they're being sued right now by the Department of Justice as basically having a monopoly. Microsoft and Bing haven't really scratched the surface that much, but with this whole AI battle coming in to fruition, Microsoft could become a bigger player. So you should definitely look into that and potentially even get started on Microsoft advertising platform. It makes it really easy for you to import your Google campaigns, if you're running any, onto Microsoft to even test that stuff and get going right away. But this AI tools and future is going to get pretty interesting. Google hasn't launched any AI tools yet, but they have a ton of data on people. I have no doubt that Google will have an even better AI tool. They've had people using Gmail, Google Drive, Hangouts, all that stuff. They have so much data on people, search data. Their AI tool should be even better than potentially OpenAI and ChatGPT. But we'll see. We'll see if it comes out. But as far as these tech giants, they're going to get sued every so often, and some things may change. Right now, they're urging the Supreme Court not to allow lawsuits against their tech algorithms. Basically, what makes it easy for you to find results and what shows up for different people. They use people's personal data basically to show them posts, ads, things that you want to see or potentially buy. And this kind of goes into the whole privacy debate, how much data they collect, how much data they use for their own profit. So we'll see what happens there as well. But in general, these tech companies and the government or are going to be hit by regulations either now or later. You probably remember the Meta Congress hearings where they were hit with their privacy issues and they had to make some changes to their platform. The whole iOS 14 update with Apple blocking a bunch of data going into applications such as Meta and advertising. Meta advertising losing a ton of data from Apple users after that fact, and ad costs continue to rise. So basically, what can you do? What's the solution? Step one is to diversify your traffic. You never know when these channels are going to go down, get hit by something, a lawsuit, or even get purchased or merged. So if you're doing great on Google, Meta, Twitter ads, posting, you want to make sure you diversify your traffic. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Another thing you should do is continue to gather first-party data. That's emails and phone numbers, because basically in the long run, or you're basically running traffic from these platforms. No matter how many followers you have on these Meta, Twitter, Instagram, Microsoft, Google, even TikTok, you're just renting their space. They can kick you off at any time and you can have 1 million followers and then they're all gone. So what we continue to do, and what we preach here at Giant Partners, is continue to build your database, your first-party data. How do you do that? We have some great content on our website. How to grow your email list, hand in hand with building a text message list as well. Because once you have that data, you pretty much own that data. You take that data that you're running from these platforms, get them to convert. We have a nice checklist or a list of ways you can collect emails, from giveaways to resource downloads, sign up, events, things like that. Very helpful blog post. We'll leave it in the description for you guys, or show notes, so you can take a look at it later. So please continue to do that. Otherwise, you'll be at the mercy of these big platforms, these tech giants. And that's kind of like what we preach at Giant Partners. We're data driven. We want to get that data from customers. We want to acquire it, and we want to build big databases that we can continue to market to long after these tech companies. So if you want more data-driven content like this, be sure to like it, subscribe. If you have any questions about this, the Google lawsuit, or how to grow your lists, be sure to ask questions below in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. And we'll see you next time.